and make mistakes. South Carolina's only given up 59 points a game. They need to maintain that defensive efficiency against a high-octane offense of the Tennessee Vols.
All right, the Southeastern Conference opener for Tennessee and South Carolina. And we'll return to Columbia for the starting lineups and the opening tip right after these messages.
The Alltel SEC Game of the Week is being brought to you by Alltel, by your local Toyota dealers.
Welcome back to the capital city of South Carolina, Columbia. We're at the Colonial Center where Tennessee meets South Carolina. And it's the SEC debut for new Tennessee coach Bruce Pearl, who was asked to describe his coaching style.
I'm a little out of control. You know, I'm a little out there. I need to calm down a little bit. I need to take a chill pill, you know. But I want to coach a team. I want to referee. I want to sell programs. I want to do it all. And that's just how I am all the time. That's how I am in practice. That's how I am in the games. And I don't know whether the fans will get adjusted to me. I think they'll find me somewhat entertaining. I'm just pretty passionate about what I do, and I kind of wear it on my sleeves.
So, Joe, it sounds like Coach Pearl's coaching style is up-tempo as well as his game plan.
Well, Tom, he remembers his roots. He coached at Division II Southern Indiana, where you had to sweep the floor, cook the popcorn, drive the bus. And he's carried that with him into the big time at the University of Tennessee. He's still very animated. He's a marketing guy. Came out on the floor before the game and visited with us, which was nice. And he's a heck of a basketball coach as well.
Take a look at our starting lineups for Tennessee. Lofton, Bradshaw, Asumnu, and Wingate. C.J. Watson, only the second player in Tennessee history with over 1,000 points and 500 assists. You saw the Carolina starting lineup, and we're ready to go with Tom Lopes, Pat Adams, and Rick Crawford, the officials for this afternoon's game. SEC opener for both teams. Bruce Pearl's Tennessee Vols and Dave Odom's South Carolina Gamecocks. Coach Odom in his 20th season as a college head coach.
The key matchup for South Carolina is Torrance Kinsey at 6'6" on 6'3" Chris Lofton. Lofton, one of the top three-point shooters in the country. They're going to try to shut him down here this afternoon.
Tennessee spreading the floor on the opening possession. Watson drives baseline, deflected out of bounds. There's a look at Coach Odom in his 5th season here at South Carolina, 20th overall, as the Gamecocks celebrate their 15th season of playing in the Southeastern Conference. And the home team has won the last 7 meetings between these two squads. Double Wingate, deflect the ball, but right back to Watson. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Going to penetrate here with C.J. Watson off the ball screen.
Wingate set the screen, flipped it underneath, and they lost it. Bad-looking possession on the opening one for Tennessee as they turn it over.
Good defensive rotation there by South Carolina to disrupt the on-ball pick and roll.
Here's Kelly for the Gamecocks, being checked by Watson.
Tennessee man-to-man. They'll play full court the entire game, but you got to score to get into your press. Didn't do it the first possession.
You mentioned they were the highest scoring team in the league, Tennessee. They're also the worst defensive team in terms of points allowed. Right underneath, Wallace can't get it over the rim.
Here they go.
Bradshaw runs the court and misses the layup. And a foul on the rebound on South Carolina. First foul of the game.
That's the interesting thing about Dane Bradshaw. He was recruited as a point guard and today is playing the power forward position. So he's matched up with Ronaldo Bachman and that time just beat Bachman down the floor but missed the easy layup.
Foul is on Trice as Tennessee puts it in play. Asumnu tried to get it into Wingate. It's kicked by Wallace. Recycle the shot clock and give it to Tennessee. One team has won 7 in a row. Tennessee leads the series by 2. Actually, don't recycle the shot clock anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
That's a rule change.
Exactly. And they only go back, if it's a kick inside of 15 seconds, they only go back to the 15-second mark. South Carolina zones on the out of bounds. You see that quite a bit in college basketball. Try to protect the basket. You got to locate Lofton in this zone. That's the key defensively for the Gamecocks here.
Shot clock at 10.
They're almost showering him man-to-man.
Bradshaw faked a shot, couldn't get it away. 3 to shoot. 3 for Watson. Long rebound taken by Tennessee's Chris Lofton. Penetration Bradshaw. Lofton couldn't get the three away. Good closeout on defense by Trice of South Carolina. Wingate. And another offensive board for the Vols. Bradshaw, he can't hit. Cleared by Bachman. Watson with a steal has Asunu. Reverse, no good, but a foul. It's called on Kelly, his first.
What energy. I tell you, they're getting up and down the floor. We talked about it. I hope Pat Adams and Tom Lopes and Rick Crawford, the officials, are in shape today, because these two teams have great speed, great athletes, and they're going to try to beat the other's defense down the court to shoot some easy shots. We've seen Tennessee do that 3 times already, just haven't been able to get it to go in.
Roger Roebuck, our producer, has called for the classic, will someone make a basket, please?
Believe me, it's going to happen.
Asunu, second free throw. Missed them both. Tennessee is the best shooting free throw team in the league. Asunu, though, only shoots 46%. And less than that now. Trice with the penetration and the kick. Kelly's three, no good. Bachman, offensive board, fouled by Watson. First Tennessee foul of the game.
First SEC game for both teams. Both a little bit nervous. The coaches are probably more keyed up for this game today than they have been in the pre-conference. And normally when you get into SEC play where they know each other so well, the defenses usually carry the day over the offenses.
Carolina sets it up, and we've gone over 2.5 minutes without a point. Trice can't get away from Lofton, and threw it out of bounds, but was bailed out by a foul on Chris Lofton of Tennessee, his first.
You see the offensive rebounds by Tennessee, and that's just a classic example of them getting the ball down the floor in a hurry and getting it on the glass. It's hard to block teams out when they're running full speed toward the basket. And Tennessee's been able to get some offensive boards, just haven't been able to put them back in.
For the season, though, Tennessee the worst offensive board team in the conference. There's a bad pass, but saved by Kinsey.
Tennessee wants to disrupt your offense. They want to overplay and force you to do things that you don't normally want to do.
Trice looking inside, nobody there. Bachman comes out to get it. Kinsey, three-pointer is good. First basket of the game. Torrance Kinsey of South Carolina.
Same spot on the floor where he made that winning three-point basket to win the NIT in New York City last March. Notice the spread by Tennessee. They keep the lane area open, 4 out. They'll have Wingate in the low post, trying to post him up.
Wingate with a down screen for Asunu. Good overplaying defense by Trice to deflect it out of bounds.
Well, the Tennessee defense has been good early, but the penetration by Bachman against Dane Bradshaw opens up Kinsey at 6'6". He gets good looks and knocks it down over Wingate.
So the Volunteers averaging 85 points a game. Gone almost 4 minutes before they get Wingate with the bucket.
And even Major Wingate at 6'10" is not afraid to put the ball on the floor and try to go by his man. That time a little running jumper. Very impressive by the big fella.
4 minutes played here in the SEC opener for the Gamecocks and the Vols. Kinsey. Asunu has him. Wallace. Kinsey, three-pointer.
Well, Torrance Kinsey has been South Carolina's best player in the pre-conference season, averaging just under 16 points a game, 6'6", a very accurate shooter. He's out of Tampa, Florida.
Averaging 16 a game, has a double-double against Temple, 16 points, 10 rebounds. Watson's three, no good. Good position on the boards by the Gamecocks, but a traveling call as Kinsey fell to the floor. Torrance Kinsey has his three-point eye in shape. He's hitting 15-20 to go first half. South Carolina leading Tennessee 6-2. Take a look at our best of the conference now, presented by Chevrolet, an American Revolution. As we look at our SEC steals leaders, Ronnie Brewer of Arkansas averaging 3.4 a game with Lofton and Watson, the two Volunteers there in the top 5.
Yeah, Tom, you mentioned that Tennessee gives up more points than any school in the SEC so far this season, but they are #1 in steals, and that shows you how they are trying to play the fast-paced game. They're giving up a lot of points on one end, but they're also turning their opponent over about 21 times a game. Dave Odom talked about that before the game. They only average 12 turnovers a game. He thinks his team needs to be in that range today to have a chance to beat Tennessee.
Volunteers with the ball, trailing by 4. Patterson just into the game, missed from short range, kept alive by Wingate. Patterson misses again. Wingate had another tap before it's cleared by Kinsey.
Well, Tennessee's missed a lot of shots right around the basket. Good news for Bruce Pearl's team. They're getting good shots. They're just not able to put them in. A little nervous here in this opener of the SEC.
Kinsey nearly lost it, reclaimed it, and got it to Kelly. Backs it out, runs his play, backdoor cut, beautiful, and a layup good by Kinsey, who has all 8 South Carolina points. The pass from Kelly.
Yeah, nobody down around the basket to help because all the Tennessee players are up denying their man the ball.
Wingate, Lofton spotted at the three-point arc, didn't see him, but drew the foul.
South Carolina ran a 1-4 high set. All the orange shirts are up on their men. That opens up the backdoor play for Kinsey, and a nice feed by Trey Kelly. You see there's nobody helping around the basket because of the pressure defense by Bruce Pearl. That opens up backdoor opportunities.
Brandon Wallace committing his first foul for Carolina. And Tennessee still can't hit a free throw.
Good look at Dave Odom. 3 times he was the ACC Coach of the Year at Wake Forest. Went to the Elite 8 with Tim Duncan, who's now obviously one of the great players in the NBA with San Antonio.
That was National College Coach of the Year, 1995. Wingate misses 2, and Kinsey has another rebound.
Good help by Wingate on the ball screen.
But then he left Kelly, missed a 3. Offensive board, Trice. They'll set it up again.
They like Trice's energy. They say he's a hard-nosed kid, comes to play every day.
Kinsey calls timeout to save possession as he's sailing out of bounds. A little rough on the passing there for South Carolina, but with the timeouts, we'll bring you our Alltel SEC trivia question. Prior to coming to Tennessee, Bruce Pearl was the head coach at Marquette, DePaul, or Wisconsin, Milwaukee. We'll have the answer for you in the second half. See if you studied your SEC current affairs with Bruce Pearl taking over from the Volunteers. He has been a college head coach now for 14 seasons.
And Bruce Pearl worked under one of the great college coaches of all time in Dr. Tom Davis. 14 years he was an assistant to Dr. Davis at Boston College, Stanford, and Iowa. And he credits Tom Davis for his coaching philosophy and what has made him into the coach he is today. Outstanding motivator, high energy guy. And I think the fans in Tennessee are really going to like Bruce Pearl and his style of basketball.
Check some other scores here with Villanova. Only 1-point lead over West Virginia. Memphis hosting Winthrop.
Yeah, out of the Big South Conference.
Syracuse, and here in the NFL playoffs, Panthers at the Meadowlands leading the Giants 7-0.
We shouldn't have football scores on a basketball telecast.
Roger Roebuck is from Charlotte, you understand.
I understand.
Bryce Sheldon into the game for South Carolina, 6'5" junior from Anaheim, California. A transfer from junior college. And Tennessee foul called.
You know, we talked a lot about Bruce Pearl and his energy and his marketing skills, people skills. He went around the city of Knoxville speaking everywhere he could go, shaking hands with folks and getting to know the Vol fans all over the state. And for their home opener against East Tennessee State, they had 20,000 fans at that game in Thompson-Boling Arena. Certainly a guy who understands the value of promoting his program and marketing his team, as well as recruiting and coaching.
As he said to us, nobody in America was able to exceed that 20,000 attendance, college or NBA, that evening.
Exactly.
That foul, by the way, the last one on Tennessee was on Chris Lofton, his second, and now Smith commits his first.
Of course, the bar's pretty high at Tennessee now. Yesterday, when the Lady Vols played Connecticut, there were 24,000 at that game.
Bachman forces it up for between defenders and pounds it home.
You really got to like Ronaldo Bachmann, just a tremendous athlete who plays with a lot of energy.
Smith, just in the game, is fouled attempting a three-pointer by Torrance Kinsey.
We talked a lot about Torrance Kinsey. Tennessee defense to lay it in. Torrance Kinsey, outstanding player and leading the Gamecocks in scoring this year.
And today has 8 of their 10 points as Juwan Smith misses a free throw. 6'2" sophomore from Decatur. And the Vols are 0 for 5 at the free throw line. And again, this is the best free throw shooting team in the league.
Yeah, there's a lid on that basket down at that end, and Bruce Pearl's got his team clapping over on the side. He knows that they're getting good shots. They're getting to the foul line, and as long as you're doing that, you're going to get the ball in the basket sooner or later. So he's trying to keep his team's confidence up right now.
Smith hits 2 of 3, and it's a 6-point game.
Here comes the pressure. Hadn't seen it yet this afternoon.
Yeah, got to make a bucket to
That's right.
set it up. And there's a foul underneath called on Tennessee.
Now, this time Trey Kelly cannot move. He's in a spot position, so they can't run that defensive play. And we've got Patterson at 6'7" with long arms up on the inbounds passer, making it tough for the throw-in. Tennessee is denying all passing lanes here.
Tennessee already with 5 team fouls. Here's the backcourt trap, but Carolina gets out of it easily and into front court. Kelly to Trice. Has the ball inside, and that'll be a goaltending call. Credit the basket to Antoine Tisby, the 6'8" senior from Kansas City, Kansas, just into the game, and the goaltending call.
Yeah, Tisby was a junior college transfer a year ago, 6'8", about 240, and he squares his shoulders nicely on the low post move. That was clearly offensive goaltending by Andre Patterson. South Carolina with a little pressure of their own. There's a thought a lot in basketball that teams that press don't like to be pressed.
Coach Pearl saying, as I talked to him last night, that he doesn't believe it. He doesn't go for that. He doesn't think that's accurate. As Bradshaw takes it to the rim and draws the Carolina foul on Tisby, his first.
Well, I think in the case of Tennessee, they work against each other every day in practice on that full court pressure defense, so they're used to breaking down the press with the dribble and getting the ball to the lane, creating the good shots. They've done that today, but again, they have not finished the plays by making the baskets.
Dane Bradshaw misses a free throw. He's an 84% free throw shooter.
It's amazing how you tighten up a little bit when SEC play rolls around. You're looser in the non-conference. The games maybe aren't quite as important, although the coaches would dispute that. But
Wallace replaces Bachmann as Bradshaw missed 2, kept alive. Bradshaw has it back. Bradshaw has done such a great job for Tennessee, playing power forward at 6'4". Finds Watson open and he banks it home.
Yeah, Bradshaw's a warrior. Just goes after the ball on both ends, and that loose ball opened up a wide open shot for C.J. Watson off the glass.
Tennessee only 2 of 9 at the free throw line has to be a concern. They get the ball in deep to Tisby, and he's fouled.
Cowley in the lane.
His free throws make it 14-6 Gamecocks.
His own trap here. One trap back to the half-court defense by the Gamecocks.
Lofton.
Well, they located him quick.
They did. He's the three-point shooter, and Kinsey closed him out before he could get the shot away.
And he has not had one open look here in this game this afternoon. Nice job defensively by South Carolina.
Wallace nearly stole it from Wingate. Wingate lumbering his way to the hoop. Missed the shot. Strong rebound by Kinsey. Tisby, low post against Wingate. Made him alter the shot, and it's no good. Kept alive, claimed by Lofton of Tennessee. Watson pushing the ball. Almost lost it, got control and backed it in.
Yeah, and he's got some size advantage on Trey Kelly, about 3 inches. Drove him right to the lane and used his strength to get it up and over.
Backcourt trap. Carolina's lead is 6.
South Carolina so far has handled the Tennessee pressure pretty well.
Big size advantage. Tisby takes it to the hoop over Bradshaw.
Yeah, Wingate got switched off on another player, and that left Bradshaw inside on Tisby.
Asunu can't hit. Long three-pointer, no good by Trice. And Asunu has it in the corner. Watson. Short on that attempted bank. And Trice the other way. Tennessee has to like the tempo of this game.
Well, it's definitely in their favor, but again, they're getting the ball into the lane and down the floor quickly, but just cannot convert. Shooting percentages have got to be low, I would say. 3 of 14.
3 of 14, 21% for the Volunteers. Lob pass, Bradshaw. Excellent defensive help. Watson. Hesitation, can't get free. Now they lost the ball on the dribble.
Good job by Brandon Wallace, the big 6'10" post guy, to shut Watson down off the dribble. Tennessee slowing it up, just catching their breath a little bit.
Wingate. Reach in, batted it away. Here's the Carolina break. Kelly, pass deflected. Bradshaw has a run out to Asunu.
Well, there you go. South Carolina runs it down and doesn't get a good shot. And Asunu just leaks out. Here's the steal.
Lofton with the steal. Three-pointer, good! Chris Lofton, a 45% three-point shooter. One of the top three-point shooters in college basketball. 4th in the Southeastern Conference. Got his first look off the steal.
Well, there's Bruce Pearl basketball right there. They force South Carolina to run the ball down the floor, get the bad shot, and Bradshaw finds Asunu leaking out for the easy dunk at the other end. And then Lofton steals the ball, one dribble, and plays a little string music, Tom Hammond, in Columbia.
Oh, 27 years ago, your dad and I teed it up for the first time in SEC basketball.
Oh, I tell you, we got to do that once a game. Great job of coming back by the Volunteers. Didn't give up. Bruce Pearl kept his team excited on the sidelines. He knew they were getting the kind of shots they wanted, just weren't making them, and they had the tempo going in their favor.
South Carolina's turned the ball over 5 times, and Tennessee has 5 points off those turnovers. Tennessee's only turned it over twice. No South Carolina points off turnovers.
And again, Dave Odom was worried about South Carolina's turnover number. They only averaged 12 a game, as I mentioned, already with 5 here in the first 10 minutes of this first half.
Gamecocks shooting well to open the game. 50. Tennessee foul called, and we'll take a break. Tennessee has cut the Carolina lead to 3. Special Sunday edition of SEC basketball. Tennessee and South Carolina. Today's game brought to you by Alltel. So Eddie Dubrow, a walk-on senior from Smyrna, Tennessee, is on the floor for Bruce Pearl at the moment. Dubrow rarely used. He has only played 5 games this season. Here's already with 9:48 to go in the first half. 10 points for Kinsey to lead the Carolina attack. Their lead is 5. Powell with an entry pass to Wingate. Backside help. Wingate powers it up. No good. Tap no good. And knocked out of bounds. Who hit it last? It'll be Tennessee's ball, it appears.
He has it.
Nope.
South Carolina's ball, yeah.
It went out of bounds and came back in, they're saying.
Now they keep getting the ball into Wingate. Look at the mismatch there. He's got Rocky Trice, but can't shoot it up over him. And then on the scramble and the loose ball, Asunu went out of bounds, came back in, and that was the correct call by Pat Adams, the official. Tennessee, again, has missed so many shots right around the basket.
They're 5 of 17, 29%. Couldn't get the steal. Now numbers Carolina. Wallace. Undercut. That's a dangerous foul. Watson, wary of a trap, comes into front court.
Full court pressure by South Carolina, designed just to slow Tennessee down and to get them into half-court offense.
Lofton with a lob inside. Ill-advised pass. Intended for Asunu, but taken by Carolina.
Not a good decision right there by Lofton. Didn't have it open. You got to make the decision as to when the teammate's open or not to make the pass.
Laughlin, Sheldon, three-pointer, air ball. And Childress has it for the Vols. There's a bad pass, though, intercepted by Sheldon.
They're letting them play here today.
Yep. Sheldon knocked down, but no foul. Made a good defensive play, however, and the Gamecocks have it back, leading by 6. South Carolina's never trailed today. Continuing to shoot well, even 50%. Bachman traveled.
Bachman's about 6'7", and Major Wingate at 6'10", playing behind him. Bachman wants to try to go around him with his quickness, but shuffle the feet before he made the move.
6 turnover to the Gamecocks. There you see the numbers. The Vols with 4.
Dave Odom will talk about that statistic with his team at halftime. Got to take care of the basketball. Tennessee wants to turn you over, and as we've mentioned several times, be disruptive on the defensive end.
Lofton faked the 3, drew the foul.
On the floor. Tried to throw it up and get the shooting foul. Smart play by Lofton. You see that a lot in the NBA.
That's 6 against South Carolina, so no shots, as Kinsey commits his second. Patterson hands it off to Watson, and they'll set it up. Patterson sets a screen, but Watson sends him away. And they run the offense with that floor spread. Lofton thought he had a look, creates his own shot, but can't hit it. And the rebound by Wallace. Tennessee down to 27% shooting now. Bachman facing up on Wingate. Kelly can't hit it. Lofton, outlet pass Watson. Here's Patterson running the floor. Should have passed it, didn't. Missed the shot. Then when he decided to shoot, probably should have dunked it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's what Bachman does.
South Carolina's got the athletes to run up and down the floor and make transition baskets against the Vols.
Assumed pushed off, no call, missed the shot. Wallace gives it up to Kelly. Wallace, Bachman, nicely done.
Beautiful, beautiful ball. Bounce pass by Brandon Wallace right there. Little two-man game by the post players on the wing. You don't see that very often. And the crowd is into this one.
10-point lead for the Gamecocks. Watson reclaimed it. Wingate with a screen. Watson goes right around Bachman. Looked like he was fouled as he took it to the rim. No call. Still scrapping for the basketball. Italy, Carolina's ball. Gamecocks on a roll as they show Tennessee. Back in Columbia, and here's what Tennessee has done in its pre-conference schedule, leading the SEC in all these offensive categories and a defensive one as well in terms of steals. The problem is this. 6:20 to go in the first half, and they only have 13 points and trail by 10. Tennessee's missed its last 5 shots, only shooting 23.8% for the game. And meanwhile, the Gamecocks have reeled off 7 points in a row. There's that 7-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Well, obviously, the statistics are going to come down a little bit when you get into SEC play. The athletes on both teams are so physical. Last year, the leading scoring team in the SEC at the end of the year was Florida, 76 points a game. That's okay, but that's not like the 85 points Tennessee's been putting up in this pre-conference season.
And of course, the other side of the coin is that Carolina allows less than 60 a game.
That's true. Good point. And their defense has been very effective today.
Trip and a foul.
You know, and I say that, Tom, South Carolina's defense is good. Dave Odom has a great reputation as a defensive coach. But on the other side, Tennessee's gotten a lot of great looks. They've gotten the ball into the lane time after time after time, right around the rim, and have missed probably 10 easy shots that they could have made, and this would be a different game. And Bruce Pearl knows that. He'll tell them that at halftime.
Jordan Howell commits his first foul. There is an upset as third-ranked Villanova falls at home to West Virginia.
Defensive battle in Memphis.
That can't be right. Meanwhile, a defensive battle at the Meadowlands. Only a 7-point game there. Panthers 7-0 over Eli Manning and the Giants.
I thought football was over. The Rose Bowl, didn't that it? Football's not over yet. Yeah. Okay.
You know, Roger points out in my ear that here in Columbia it was 0-0 with 3 minutes played.
That's true. Good point.
Rocky Trice makes it a 25-13 lead for Odom's Gamecocks.
South Carolina back to the zone. It's a 3-2 zone. It'll look like a 1-2-2. They're going to spread the wings to make sure they cover Lofton and C.J. Watson.
Bradshaw hands to Watson, blocked. Rejected by Wallace, who runs the floor, gets the pass, gives it up to Trice.
Very nice. Very nice, converting a defensive play by Wallace to an easy shot at the other end. Excellent on both ends of the floor for South Carolina right there.
And Carolina's now scored 11 in a row. Bradshaw, the penetration, up and under, over Wallace, he got it.
He's had several like that. Finally got it in. Bradshaw, only 6'4", recruited as a point guard out of high school. Now playing around the basket and doing an excellent job for Tennessee.
Laughlin comes out to get it, and Bradshaw comes with him. Sheldon, now Wallace, 10 to shoot. Shot clock at 5. Kelly, no good, and rebounded by Tennessee. Watson's in a hurry, beats Wallace down the floor, lays it in.
Well, that's the rule of thumb for a point guard. You drive the ball as far as the defense will allow you to go. Nobody stopped the basketball for South Carolina. Watson, smart, drove it right to the basket, laid it in.
Back to a 10-point margin. Watson has a half dozen points. He's the leading Tennessee scorer.
Good defense here. Here's the pressure.
Laughlin, a crossover dribble. Dishes it off to Kelly. Three-pointer, no good. Rocky Trice hitting the offense, building a 10-point lead over the Tennessee Vols, 27-17. Fans follow Jefferson Pilot Sports coverage of SEC basketball all season long by logging on to jpsports.com to check out the Toyota Amajodine Jr. Columbia, South Carolina conference opener for Tennessee and the Gamecocks. And Carolina having its way right now, shooting 50% and hitting 7 of 8 at the free throw line. Tennessee shooting only 29% from the floor and 2 of 9 at the stripe. And soft touch from Rocky Trice as the first free throw bounces through.
One shot.
Trice, the senior from Swainsboro, Georgia. Started 8 times last season, averaging 6 a game. Started this year at 7 per game scoring average. Trice has hit the last 6 points for the Gamecocks, who go up by 12.
South Carolina stays in that zone. It's kind of a 3-2 look with Wallace and Bachman on the baseline, covering Wingate inside. Zones have a tendency to slow offenses down.
And it has done that to Tennessee. Around the perimeter, Lofton a long 3. Didn't matter. Chris Lofton drains the long-range 3. And they're back to a single-digit deficit.
Bryce Sheldon said, I don't have to go out that far to cover the guy, but Lofton has got incredible range.
The shooting, Gamecocks at 50% and only 32% now for Tennessee. Bachman forced it up. And a foul on the rebound? No. Yes. I couldn't hear the whistle, but it was a foul. Bachman going to the rebound.
Chris Lofton, a young man out of Maysville, Kentucky. Look at the range. Look how far back he is. I mean, that's way outside the NBA, what would be the NBA line. Outstanding shooter.
Lofton, the former Kentucky Mr. Basketball at Mason County High School. This telecast featuring South Carolina, brought to you in part by the South Carolina Farm Bureau.
You know, we looked at the shooting percentages by both teams, and of course, South Carolina right at 50%. Tennessee under 40, but yet only one field goal differential between the two teams, which means Tennessee's getting the ball up on the glass a lot more than South Carolina. That could pay dividends to them if they're able to make a comeback in the game.
Bradshaw, an 84% free throw shooter on the season, has missed 3. Tennessee continues to struggle at the free throw line, only 2 of 10.
Yeah, and there's the story in the game right there for Tennessee, if you're a Tennessee fan. Stepped out of bounds.
So Sheldon turns it over as his foot hit the out of bounds line. He can't believe it. Dave Odom
Can't believe it either. He's saying to his assistants, we stepped out of bounds. What's wrong with that picture?
Without any pressure.
Exactly.
That look pretty much tells the story. And Tennessee with a chance to cut it to that 9-point lead via the Gamecocks.
South Carolina back man-to-man. Kinsey is on Lofton, 6'6" on 6'2".
Lofton faked the 3 with a drive. Bachman picked him up and blocked it out of bounds.
Tennessee, as we've said, have gotten the ball to the basket. Bachman and Wallace have done a nice job of helping, blocking shots, keeping the ball out of the rim.
20 on the shot clock as Bradshaw will pitch it in.
Nice set right there.
Right back to Bradshaw, who laid it in on the pass from Smith.
1-4 low. When they threw it out high, Wingate set a back screen on Bradshaw's man. He was wide open. Excellent set by Bruce Pearl's team.
Nearly a steal, and a timeout finally called by Kelly.
You talk about in football converging on the ball. Right time the orange shirts for Tennessee converged on the basketball.
Well, we remind you that this Wednesday, our All-Tell SEC game of the
Day in Tuscaloosa, Chuck Davis, the All-SEC forward for Alabama, tore his ACL, is out for the season. That's just heartbreaking for that young man and for the Alabama team.
Further problems for the Crimson Tide. We'll see them Wednesday night at arch rival Auburn. South Carolina down to only 2 timeouts left after a couple of them taken to save possession. Just under the 2-minute mark in the first half. Carolina led by 12, but Tennessee is closed back within 7. Gamecocks with the ball.
Bradshaw's done a nice job on Bachman inside, giving up about 3 inches.
Kinsey was hot early and regains his shooting touch as he pops in a 3. That's his 3rd tray of the first half. Kinsey's hit all 4 of his shots, 3 of them from 3-point range.
They're letting Bradshaw shoot it.
Had the open 3 if he wanted it.
Yep.
Passed it up. Finds Howell, who launches the 3. Back rim, easy board for Bachman. Wallace spotted for the 3-pointer, no good. Asumnu, tough rebound, even though Trice had inside position. Crossover dribble, Asumnu lost it. Here's Wallace leading the break the other way. And taken back by C.J. Watson, who is immediately fouled by Kinsey. That'll be 3 on Torrance Kinsey, who is the only player in the game in double figures with 13 points. So a big development there as Kinsey picks up his 3rd foul in the final minute of the first half.
Obviously, Kinsey, the outstanding shooter for South Carolina, gives them the offense and their leading scorer with 3 fouls. That certainly is going to play a part in this ball game.
C.J. Watson, the best free throw shooter in the Southeastern Conference at 89%, tries to help Laval Rose at the free throw line as he makes the first. It's his first trip to the line, but Tennessee overall just 3 of 11. Winthrop leading Memphis. We finally got some baskets scored there.
Yeah, Winthrop's an outstanding team right up the road, up I-77, just south of Charlotte and Rock Hill. Outstanding team from the Big South Conference. Greg Marshall does a great job there.
Announcers for this game selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. Any use of the broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference, Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Final 30 seconds of the first half. Shot clock at 7. Fumbled by Sheldon, 2 to shoot. He got it away. Three-pointer. It's gone!
Wow, under heavy pressure. That's a backbreaker for Tennessee because they played great defense right there and got great pressure on Sheldon, the shooter. He just kind of threw up a prayer and it went in.
Watson rimmed out as the first half comes to a close. So the shot clock ticking down. Sheldon with a desperation three. Defender in his face. Trying to lead at halftime as they equal their biggest margin in the first half. First half in the books in Columbia with South Carolina leading Tennessee 35-23.
A program 15 minutes.
To take on the Texas Longhorns, then ranked 6th in the nation, although they were coming off a big loss to Duke. Well, Tennessee played their best game of the season. 5 balls scored in double figures, led by Chris Lofton with 21, as Tennessee ran out to a 20-point halftime lead. They had 12 three-pointers in the game as they held on for a 95-78 win over the Texas Longhorns. One of the reasons their record is 9-1 as they come into conference play. Let's take a look at the Advanced Auto Parts Drive to the SEC Championship standings.
I'll tell you what, Florida is a team to be reckoned with in the top 5 in the country right now at 14-0 after losing 3 outstanding players from last year. Billy Donovan's got this team playing lights out.
Off to their best start in history and equaling their consecutive win mark. Here's the west side of things with Ole Miss and Mississippi State winning their conference openers.
Yeah, nice win for Ole Miss on the road to start the conference season at Alabama.
Of course, LSU really took Connecticut to the final stages before losing to UConn. We're at halftime here in Columbia in the SEC opener. South Carolina prevails over the Vols. It's a 12-point game at intermission in Columbia. South Carolina leading Tennessee. Let's take a look now at our top 25 teams in the nation, presented by Quaker State. 2 SEC teams in that Columbia, where South Carolina is up 12 at halftime. South Carolina, those are some the best seats in the house. 35-23, Gamecocks on top. You can follow Jefferson Pilot Sports coverage of SEC basketball all season long by logging on to jpsports.com. And their go time this season, and Joey hasn't missed a shot. What about some halftime highlights?
Well, Kinsey is the halftime highlight for South Carolina, but we'll look at Tennessee first. Great guard play for the Volunteers. C.J. Watson on the dribble drive right there. He has 7 points to lead the Vols in scoring. And Chris Lofton, the outstanding shooter, he's only gotten 2 looks from three-point range. There's one of them right there. He's 2 for 2, 6 points in the first half for Lofton. Torrance Kinsey, 13 points in the first half for South Carolina. 3 of 3 from downtown. You see a couple right there. Torrance Kinsey, the leading scorer for the Gamecocks, having an excellent first half. And then Ronaldo Bachman on the break.
At our halftime stats, poor shooting by Tennessee, only 31%, while South Carolina hitting 50% on the first half. Free throws are a real problem for Tennessee, and uncharacteristic of the Vols, only 3 of 12 at the line. Rebounding battle won by the Gamecocks. They have committed 8 turnovers, and Tennessee has gotten 8 points off those turnovers. Some work to do for the Volunteers. They trail by 12 with the second half straight ahead.
Negotiated final cut of their highlights.
I think that works, Dwayne.
Roger Roebuck, director Gary Clem, ready for the second half in the conference opener for these two teams. SEC East foes with South Carolina leading 35-23.
Got to say, Tom, this arena, the Colonial Center, is a beautiful, beautiful place. First time I've had a chance to be in here, and 18,000 seats, garnet red type seats, skyboxes at the mid-level, and several club areas where, you know, some of the VIP fans or donors of South Carolina can go and enjoy food and what have you before and during halftime. So really nice setup.
And we have a moment to remind you, that's not Torrance Kinsey, by the way. Bruce Pearl in his college days at Boston College. Now we remind you that Wednesday night will be in Auburn. Well, and the first thing, all right, I'll get it right. This is Saturday's lineup, not Wednesday. Okay?
Right.
Next Saturday, we'll have a doubleheader, all-tell doubleheader. It begins with Mississippi State and Ole Miss at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And then the second one We'll find Larry Conley and Tom Hammond back in Columbia for Georgia and South Carolina. So an all-tale doubleheader. That's Saturday starting at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And Wednesday at 8 we will be in Auburn for Auburn, Alabama.
Good matchups on Jefferson Pilot.
Conference season underway. The 20th for Jefferson Pilot to televise SEC basketball.
C.J. Watson matched up on Trey Kelly. A couple of speed burners right there.
Each team comes back with its original starting five. Well, with the exception of Bryce Sheldon, who gets the second half start for Carolina. Sheldon's three. Off the mark. He hit one just before halftime.
Yeah, he was too open that time.
Bradshaw takes it all the way. Nobody stopped the ball again. And Bradshaw lays it in.
And again, that's part of Bruce Pearl's teaching of the fast break. The quick point guards drive it down the floor, and if nobody stops you, take it all the way to the rim.
And for a team as good defensively as South Carolina, that's a lapse. First commandment is stop the ball,
That's
right?
exactly, and they've let that happen twice here in this ball game.
Bachman at long range. Wingate comes out to get him. Kelly backs it up. Shot clock down to 5. Kelly's got to get it up into the air. Sheldon does from three-point range, just like the first half. 1 second on the shot clock, and he hits a three.
And he was under pressure by Stanley Asumnu. That's when he needs a little pressure.
Wingate surrounded by the defenders off the lob pass. He hesitated. He should have taken it right to the rim. He had an open shot.
Well, Kelly got caught underneath the basket with nowhere to go, under pressure, and of course threw it out to Sheldon, and Sheldon knocked it down under contesting by Asumnu.
Lob it in to Wingate. Reach-in foul on South Carolina as they swarm him in the lane.
Wingate so improved this year for Tennessee. Opportunity to play this year after Brandon Crump left, and here's, as he did at the end of the first half, big three for the Gamecocks.
Here's the rebound. That last foul, by the way, was on Trey Kelly. Bachman. Lon Smith guarding Rocky Trice. Bachman feeds it inside to Wallace.
Well done. That was a set high-low action right there. Bachman coming to the high post, and they isolated Wallace on the smaller Bradshaw.
Bradshaw gets it at the rim, makes a nice ball fake, and lays it in.
But that, again, is part of the Tennessee style of play. On a made field goal, they want to beat you down the floor and shoot a layup before you can set your half-court defense.
Bradshaw, the Vols' leading scorer with 8. Trice can't get away from Lofton. Three-pointer by Wallace. Off the mark, he wades in for the board and lays it no good. Watson lets it go out of bounds. Tennessee's ball.
We talked about the high-low action by South Carolina. Bradshaw at 6'4". Beautiful execution by the South Carolina offense.
Lofton under pressure, hits a three.
Does he have great action or what? I'm telling you, when he squares those shoulders, rotation, beautiful stroke by Chris Lofton.
His third trifecta of the game. He has 9 points.
Good pressure by Tennessee on the basketball.
3 minutes into the second half. Hand check foul, Bradshaw.
It's amazing that Tennessee can play with a 6'4" converted point guard in the power forward position. That amazes me.
Wild shot by Kelly.
And look who comes up with it.
Bradshaw hands it to Watson. Racing Bachman down court. Here's Bradshaw again, takes it to the hoop and missed it. Trice against Lofton. Kelly guarded by Watson. Got a screen from Wallace. Trice miss. And Lofton clears. Smith penetrates. Bradshaw for three.
Bradshaw struggling to make driving shots at the basket. Just jumps up from about 19.9 and knocks it in. Big basket for Tennessee right there.
First volunteer in double figures, but answered by Sheldon.
Both teams pushing the ball down the floor after made field goals, getting easy looks.
And Smith pops in a three.
What a ball game. This is fun to watch.
Three-pointers breaking out all over the Colonial Center here. And when the dust clears, South Carolina goes to the bench with a 43-36 lead during this timeout. Tennessee trailed by 12 at halftime. They've shaved some off that lead. It's 7 at the moment with 15:42 on the clock. Best of the conference presented by Chevrolet as we look at the SEC three-point field goal leaders. Chris Lofton of Tennessee heads the list, averaging just under 4 a game. Lofton 3 for 3 from the arc today.
Tom, I know you had a chance to see Lee Humphrey shoot it yesterday for the Gators. I had a chance to watch Shane Foster for Vanderbilt. I tell you what, those guys can light it up. Foster was unconscious yesterday.
And Bryce Sheldon of South Carolina has made his presence known at the arc today, too. He's 3 of 5 from there and has 9 points, only averaging 4 a game. Sunday edition of Southeastern Conference basketball brought to you by Alltel. Tom Hammond, Joe Dean Jr., Columbia, South Carolina. Gamecocks had never trailed today. Biggest lead has been 12. Right now they're up by 7 on the Volunteers. One of these SEC Eastern teams hoping to break into the win column. What is first conference game of the season. 5 of 8 shooting by the Volunteers, a big improvement over what they shot in the first half.
This is an amazing lineup Tennessee has in. 4 guards are in the game with Andre Patterson at 6'7", the only semi-big guy on the floor for Tennessee.
Jordan Howe, the latest addition to Bruce Pearl's team on the floor. As Howell commits the foul, number 2. Last season, 2 free throws find the bottom of the net. He's a good free throw shooter, 83%. And Carolina back up by 9.
And back to the zone. They've played it sparingly in the first half. Now back to it here in the second half. It's a 2-3 look. They're going to watch where Lofton is on the floor. You can be assured of that.
Smith penetrates. Bradshaw. Shot good. The three-point shooting continues in an excellent manner with Jordan Howell getting his first. South Carolina beats the Tennessee pressure. They'll set it up on the half court. Lead cut to 6 on the three-point field goal.
Tennessee's played man-to-man the entire game. They press on made field goals. South Carolina only 8 turnovers so far in the game. They've done a nice job in that area.
Tough shot by Rocky Trice.
And you can see what Tennessee makes you do offensively. They make you dribble, drive, and just play out of offense. But Trice did a great job of getting to the lane and then finishing the play with the short left-handed jump shot.
Bradshaw, open 3. Back rim, rebound on the floor, picked up by Smith for the Vols. He launches a 3. No good. And this time Buckman comes away with it.
A lot of speed on the floor here today.
Penetration Kelly, back out to Trice. Front rim, no good. Bradshaw, Lofton, three-pointer. Lofton pulls up at the three-point line off the break and knocks down the 3.
Tennessee with Lofton, they don't play 2-on-1 fast break. They play throw it to me from three-point range, and I'll knock it down. That's a good call right there.
It's a block on Bradshaw. Chris Lofton of Tennessee, 4 for 4 from three-point range today.
Instead of Lofton going all the way to the basket to play a 2-on-1 fast break, he stops and sets up outside the line and then knocks down a big 3. Best time to shoot a three-point shot in many cases is in transition, because if you don't make the shot, you got people running to the basket to get the offensive rebounds.
Last foul on Bradshaw is his 3rd. And here's another quick Tennessee foul.
A lot of hand checks by Tennessee checking in this game.
Patterson commits his 3rd. Trice picked up on a switch by Patterson.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. They switched the ball screen.
Kinsey deflected, got it right back. 7 to shoot.
Got to be a block. Nope, they call a charge.
Offensive foul on Craig Kelly.
I really thought Juwan Smith moved in right there. South Carolina back man-to-man. One possession zone, back man-to-man. Just trying to find what's going to work the best here in the second half.
Tennessee making a run within 5 and 1 for Wingate. And Tennessee making the run here on South Carolina.
Antoine Tisby got lost. You see him right here. And Wingate cut right behind him. Nice pump fake. Got the ball in and drew the foul. Major Wingate, who last year played behind Brandon Crump, getting the opportunity this year to get those minutes, and he has performed extremely well for Bruce Pearl's team.
Wingate is from South Carolina, from Florence. Bricked the free throw and rebounded by Trice. It's a three-point game. Tennessee's made a determined comeback, shaking off those first-half shooting woes. They've held Kinsey in check, too, until that shot. First basket of the second half for Torrance Kinsey, who has 15 in the game.
And he's not only a spot-up shooter, but he can shoot it off the dribble, and that shows what a threat that Torrance Kinsey is with the basketball.
Bad pass, turnover Tennessee. Have up their lead to 7. Up their lead by 7 to 17.
Little flex action right here by South Carolina. It's a continuity offense. Baseline screen, down screen.
Smith with good hustle for Tennessee. Calls a timeout and gets the steal.
Nice effort. Nice effort. Look at the Tennessee players off the bench all the way to half court to congratulate Juwan Smith. That's great energy, great team chemistry, pulling for your teammates in a tough game on the road.
Went on the floor against 2 South Carolina players and then called the timeout to save possession for the Volunteers. Well, you remember our trivia question earlier.
Yeah, that's an easy day. Too easy.
Our Alltel trivia. And if you were paying attention, Tennessee hires Bruce Pearl, who comes over from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, who is 3rd nationally with an 87% winning clip.
Of course, Wisconsin, Milwaukee last year under Bruce Pearl knocked off Alabama in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
That got the attention of
yes, and of course went on to the Sweet 16 last year. He was kind of the hot ticket last year in March, and Tennessee's thrilled to have him. Mike Hamilton, the athletic director, really likes his new basketball coach.
Bruce Pearl won a Division II national championship at Southern Indiana. Kelly comes out of there. They had him surrounded, and he dribbles his way clear. Kinsey foul as he takes it baseline. The lead is 5 with 11:36 left. South Carolina clinging to a 5-point lead over the Volunteers of Tennessee. Watch for the Geico College Basketball Campus Tour. That's a season-long. Carolina has put it back out to a 5-point margin, and they have the basketball.
Tennessee shooting much better in the second half, 8 of 14, 57%. It's helped them get back in the game.
Tennessee with 21 second chance points. As you see the shooting in the second half. They had 23 total in the first half, 5 of 7 from three-point range. And Carolina has to take a timeout.
Bruce Pearl puts his biggest player on the ball on the out of bounds. That's Major Wingate. Long wingspan makes it very difficult for the inbounds man to find an open player, and then they try to deny the passes inside.
This Saturday, our Alltel SEC.
And of course, for those in the Central Time Zone, that would be 12 noon Central.
Very good, very good. Sheldon lost it. Scramble. Saved by Bachman on his back. Only one timeout left for South Carolina.
Yeah, they've had to call 3 of them because of Tennessee defensive situations.
Bachman against Lofton, a tough matchup, but makes him get rid of the ball and gets it back. Wallace to Bachman. Came off and then he slapped it in.
Brandon Wallace really handles the ball well for a big guy. Put it on the floor, found his partner inside, in Ronaldo Bachman, and Bachman missed it but stayed with it for the tip-in.
South Carolina back up by 7. Wingate calling for it inside against Bachman. Bradshaw looks again for him, can't get it as he's being fronted on the defense by Ronaldo Bachman. Lofton, a long 3 under pressure. Wow, that's a tough shot.
My goodness.
And Lofton now has not missed from the three-point line. He's 5 for 5.
I thought I saw a great shooting performance yesterday with Shane Foster, but Chris Lofton is right in there with him.
Those are tough shots, too, that last one especially. 6 of 8 from three-point range in the second half for the Volunteers. Bachman misses the layup. Here's Watson the other way for the Vols. Watson takes it all the way, throws it up and draws a foul.
We talked about Chris Lofton shooting the ball off the left-handed bounce. Watch this. Pull up over Kinsey at 6'6", knocks it down. That's big time right there. On the offensive end for Tennessee, we've seen this several times where the Tennessee point guard, C.J. Watson, just drives the ball all the way into the lane, either gets the layup or gets fouled. South Carolina's got to get out and stop him earlier on the penetration.
Trice committed the foul as the best free throw shooter in the conference. Right arrest for Carolina.
Tennessee plays at such a frenetic pace up and down the floor that it makes it difficult if you're the opponent to get in an organized set to shut them down.
And Tennessee's climbed back within 2. Midway point of the second half, 2-point Carolina lead. Here's the full court pressure from Tennessee. Kinsey with a long pass, dangerously. And they move the ball around and get the layup.
Giving up layups out of the press, and he said it doesn't worry him that much because he wants to get the pace going up and down the floor.
Trouble getting the ball inbounds. They finally do against the South Carolina press. And Patterson will dribble into front court. And there he goes all the way. Missed the shot. Wingate with a tap, no good. Kelly takes it the other way for the Gamecocks. Carolina with the ball up 5. Tennessee got within 2, but they just can't quite get over the hump.
Tennessee switching everything out on the perimeter.
Shot clock under 10. Crossover dribble twice. And then a wild shot.
Yep, offense.
And an offensive foul on Rocky Trice.
Out of control. Major Wingate stood in position. Took one for the team, and nice defensive play.
That's the 5th team foul on South Carolina. Tennessee has committed 6.
Little flex action by Tennessee, just the way we saw South Carolina. Baseline screens, keeping the floor spread. Great spacing on the floor by the Tennessee offense. So opens up room to drive.
Saw the turnover situation. That last offensive foul, the 11th by the Gamecocks. Dangerous pass deflected out of bounds. 5 to shoot.
Bruce Pearl calls play number 1. It's got to be a quick hitter. There he is. He was open.
2 to shoot. Patterson got it up and go.
Oh, my goodness. Juwan Smith was wide open under the basket. Patterson missed him, but Patterson made up for it with a sensational acrobatic shot.
Just as the shot clock buzzer went off. Within 3.
Tennessee just hanging around. That's all you want to do on the road in the SEC. Hang around, give yourself a chance in the last 5 minutes.
Tennessee's gotten 12 points off the South Carolina turnovers. And South Carolina does not have a single point off the turnover today.
Now there was 5 on the shot clock right here. Look at Juwan Smith. Can't see him. He's wide open under the basket. Patterson missed him, but threw in a prayer as the shot clock went off.
Patterson just commits the Tennessee foul, though. That's his 4th. So both Bradshaw and Patterson with 4 personal fouls each. And the clock still shows over 8 minutes. Hit out of bounds by Kinsey.
Well, we talked about free throw shooting in the first half by Tennessee. I've said this so many times, it's a national epidemic in college basketball. Nobody seems to shoot free throws well anymore. They just don't work on them enough.
They don't make the highlights.
Nope, that's true.
Lofton, a little out of his range. That time, and a good putback by Smith.
Juwan Smith has come off the bench and done some nice things for Bruce Pearl's team.
Watson calls a timeout as he sails out of bounds after intercepting the pass. And Tennessee will have it with a chance for their first lead of the game.
And Bruce Pearl is smiling over there.
So is Watson.
That play just epitomizes the style of play and the energy and passion of their coach, Bruce Pearl. Juwan Smith on the putback. Off the Lofton miss. I believe that's Lofton's first three-point miss. And then watch the steal on the press by C.J. Watson. Timeout. Bruce Pearl took the charge. The Vols are in it.
Well, they're within 1 point, the closest it's been since it was 3-2 with 16:15 to go in the first half. And the Volunteers have never led. So Dave Odom's Gamecocks have seen Tennessee hang around after leading by 12 at halftime. They have let the Vols close to within a point.
You saw the concern on Dave Odom's face, and you saw the smiles and the glad handing over on the Tennessee bench. The underdog Volunteers on the road, just trying to hang in there. Doing a good job right now.
So Watson will set it up, gets it to Childress, who comes on for the Volunteers. Wingate against Bachman. Ball fake, lowers his shoulder, hits, and Tennessee's in front for the first time. Deflection over here and out of bounds.
Great hands, Tom.
I was protecting my monitor. I'm a good employee. These things are expensive.
Yes, they are.
Wingate has given Tennessee its first lead of the game. Ducked his shoulder, might have been called. No whistle. Basket good. Falls by 1. .7:45 to go. Tennessee on top for the first time in the game. Best of the conference presented by Chevrolet. We look at the SEC block leaders with Tyrus Thomas of LSU heading the list. South Carolina with the basketball down for the first time in the game. Kinsey, a three. Under pressure. Torrance Kinsey's having a big day. Knocks down the three-pointer. He has 18 tops in the game.
Well, out of the timeout, Dave Odom set it up for his leading scorer and best shooter, and Kinsey delivered.
South Carolina back in front. And Kinsey guarding Lofton, the Vols' three-point shooter. Shot clock at 8. Watson got it.
Over Rocky Trice. Drove him down, pushed him back, and jumped up over a mid-range jumper, C.J. Watson.
Tied at 57. Kelly leaves for Bachman. Wallace turned back by Wingate.
Juwan Smith, a quicker player up on Kinsey. Staying close, little Velcro on him.
Torrance Kinsey has not missed a shot today. 6 for 6, and 4 of them three-pointers. Kelly's shot no good. Lofton takes it for the ball.
And Trey Kelly has not made a shot all day. Struggle from the field.
Watson says, let's set it up. They spread the floor.
Running baseline screens, trying to find somebody loose under the goal. Or penetrates.
Basket good. And a South Carolina foul on Kinsey.
You got to love the Tennessee bench, Tom. They're all standing, all applauding. They feed off the energy of their coach, Juwan Smith, with the penetration. Nice upper body strength to get that ball in the goal. And the bench over there just exploded with that basket.
And the problem for South Carolina, that's 4 fouls on Torrance Kinsey. who leads the Gamecock attack with 18 points and has not missed a shot, as we said.
He's going to have to be real careful. South Carolina can't afford to lose Kinsey. He's the main offensive threat, especially from the outside for the Gamecocks.
Odom leads him in the game with just over 6 minutes to go. Tennessee's biggest lead on the three-point effort by Schmidt.
Yeah, I don't think you have any choice. 6 minutes to go. You got to play him. You're down by 3. Being shadowed by C.J. Watson.
Wallace gives it up to Trice. Shot clock at 10. Trice to Kelly. 4 to shoot. Dishes underneath, and just with 2 on the shot clock, Wallace slams it home from Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly made a great penetrating move and then kind of ball fake to get everybody up in the air and slipped it underneath to Wallace, who's at 6'10", flushed it. Nice finish.
Smith, long 3, it's good. I don't know about the decision, but it looked good as Juwan Smith's had a big game off the bench.
You're exactly right, Tom. He has come off the bench and really given Tennessee some firepower, but a cheap foul right there, not good for the Volunteers.
Smith has 13 to score Tennessee's last 5 points.
Well, here's the last South, Brandon Wallace. And then on the other end, well, I believe that we're looking at
Brim and Bradshaw back in the game has it for Tennessee.
That's 2 straight front ends of 1-and-1 missed by South Carolina. Free throw shooting so critical.
Patterson and Bradshaw with 4 for Tennessee. Smith has 3 as well.
Notice the spacing of the Tennessee offense.
Kinsey with 4 fouls. Oh, that's Bradshaw from three-point range. Suddenly, Tennessee cannot miss a three-pointer. Was it Lofton?
Lofton, yes.
I should have known.
Yeah,
a long
right.
3. Lofton is 6 of 7.
He's just amazing. He's just unconscious from deep, Chris Lofton.
There he reaches in and commits the foul.
Tennessee committing those cheap fouls, sending South Carolina to the foul line. It may be the best thing because Carolina has not been able to make the front ends. This will be the 3rd consecutive front end of 1-and-1. Of course, after this, they'll go to 2 shots. Or are they at 10 now? Excuse me, they're at 10 now.
Tennessee has hit 10 of 16 from the three-point arc today. Remember, they had 12 three-pointers in that win at Austin against Texas.
Tennessee has shot well over 60% in the second half after shooting only 31% in the first half.
Tennessee in the second half, Joe, 8 of 11 from the three-point arc.
Wow.
And Chris Lofton is 6 of 7.
That's pretty good.
Second free throw good by Wallace. Cuts the Tennessee lead.
Look at this.
By 1. Smith whips it to Lofton. As South Carolina recovered defensively, he backs it out.
Tennessee gets the ball down the floor so quickly. They practice that. That's part of the way they play. Push it, get it down the floor in a hurry, attack the basket, put pressure on the defense.
Just under the 4-minute mark. Tennessee once trailed by 12. They're now up by 6. Shot clock is down at 5. Watson, three-pointer. Oh, wow!
This is amazing. They're playing with 4 guards in the game. 4 true guards and Major Wingate inside. And the quickness and the shooting ability is paying off right now for Tennessee.
9 of 12 from three-point range in the second half is answers Trey Kelly for South Carolina. Needed that.
First field goal of the game for Trey Kelly, and that was a big one. Cuts the lead to 6. Nice timeout right there by Dave Odom to get his team organized.
Look at the 9 of 12 three-point shooting by Tennessee in the second half.
C.J. Watson off the dribble right here. Just right over Kelly. Kelly doesn't think he's going to shoot it. And at the other end, Trey Kelly's.
And this could be a huge win for Tennessee on the road as they open up conference play. Hope you'll join us Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 seconds. It's a game of whatever.
Absolutely.
Tennessee has hit its last 7 field goals, several of those from three-point range, and they lead it by 6 with 3:25 on the clock.
Now, we talked about Tennessee and Bruce Pearl. I think there's no question that the defining moment for this particular Tennessee team was back in December when they go to Austin, Texas, a team that a lot of people feel will make the Final Four in the Texas Longhorns. And not only did they win there, they won by a big margin. And Bruce Pearl arguably said, you know, that's not probably, we're not as good as that,
right.
But it gave his team a lot of confidence in what they were trying to do.
Had to be a huge confidence builder, although Coach Pearl did admit that Texas was probably still suffering from a Duke hangover after the Blue Devils had pounded them in the previous game. Bradshaw looking for someone to come get the ball, and Wingate does.
Carolina needs a stop real bad right here.
Tennessee wants to milk the shot clock and get a good look. Doesn't matter whether it's a good look or not most of the game. Lofton drives and misses. Here's Bachman in a hurry. Numbers for the Gamecocks.
Nice.
Layup good by Trice.
Well, the reason they're able to get the ball down so quick is because the guy who rebounded the ball ran the fast break. Bachman, beautiful job right there for the easy layup for the Gamecocks. And it gets the crowd into it.
Back within 4. Wingate got to step inside and draws the foul. Wingate had been setting a high screen as he rolled to the basket. The defense fouls him. We'll take a break with 2.5 minutes left. Lofton missing, and then the fast break for the Gamecocks. South Carolina has squandered a 12-point halftime lead, and with 2:31 to go, they trail Tennessee by 4 with Major Wingate of the Volunteers at the free throw line. Joe, what about this second half by Tennessee? They've hit 17 of 27 shots overall, 9 of 12 from three-point range, and turned it over only once.
And they got good shots in the first half. They just didn't make them. Bruce Pearl went in at halftime and told them, guys, don't worry about the shooting percentages. We're getting the shots we want. You concentrate in the second half, and the ball will go in, and that's what's happened for them.
Gave Wingate a thumbs up after Major missed the first free throw. Here's his second attempt. On the money. So Odom and the Gamecocks now down by 5 with 2.5 to play.
Tennessee still pressing. Normally in this situation with a 5-point lead and 2.5 to go, you drop back and protect the basket. No, sir. Tennessee's going to attack for 40 minutes.
Here's Kinsey. He's had the hot hand for most of the day as the shot clock's not operating. As in, they were down 40-25 in the second half today, trailed by 12 at halftime, and 40-25 at one point in the second half today. This would be a huge victory for Bruce Pearl, not only to up their record to 10-1, but to win their conference opener on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can go in this league and win on the road, it's like you win 2 games almost. It's just huge.
South Carolina's not done yet. One of the reasons Tennessee's in front, those points off turnovers today. And Tennessee just hadn't turned it over much. Only 1 in the second half. Only 6 for the game by the Volunteers. Carolina's turned it over 12 times. 5-point game with 2:07 left. Near steal. Now numbers for the Gamecocks. And Trice takes advantage to lay it in.
Well, that was a sensational take. Again, Tennessee with 4 guards. They really can't contest a shot like that. Trice with athleticism jumped up over the defense and laid it in.
He has 15 points in double figures for the 4th time this season, and a new season high with 6 rebounds as well. He's made it a 3-point game.
Tennessee with the lead is going to run the shot clock down. They know the clock is their ally.
Watson penetrates and is fouled by Bachman with 9 on the shot clock and 1:32 on the game clock, and Bachman is hurt.
Now the play before, we saw Rocky respect for one another.
And C.J. Watson, who is moving up several career lists at Tennessee all time. Assists, 3-point field goals, steals, and points. Free throw no good, though. Watson has missed twice at the free throw line today. Came in shooting 89%, best in the conference. Bachman limping over to the bench, replaced by the three-point shooter Bryce Sheldon. Watson at the line is 3 of 5. Second one is good. 4-point game.
That makes it a 2-possession game. Again, the clock favors Tennessee. South Carolina needs to score quick.
Wallace with a screen for Kelly. Kelly whips it back outside. Sheldon's three-pointer, no good. Offensive board, though, by Trice. Trice has 6 rebounds now. Seven, actually, with that latest one. And now the three-pointer. No good by Kelly. Kept alive for a moment, then Wingate cradles it for the Volunteers. They have the ball and a 4-point lead in the final minute.
Well, they won't have to shoot again here. Just handle the basketball and make your foul shots. That's where Tennessee is. And they got guards in the game, so you really don't know who's the best guy to foul. You don't want to foul him. Wow.
From the corner, Bradshaw.
Unbelievable.
No conscience.
Unbelievable.
As he hits a three.
I was thinking, what was he doing?
I know. Unbelievable second half shooting from the three-point arc by Tennessee. Nice drive by Trey Kelly to roll it in. And a foul with 20 seconds left. What in the world was Bradshaw doing? They're trying to work on the clock, perhaps draw a foul, and he launches a long three from the corner. And makes it.
Well, you know, the only thing I can think is that he didn't want to get fouled and have that pressure at the line. So instead he said, I'm just going to make a three. And
well, let's take a look at our Red Lobster, nothing but net shot of the game.
I don't know how we would pick one out of all the ones we've had, but let's go ahead and go with the last one. Dade Bradshaw, little string music here in Columbia.
And then he took a look, he turned on his heel and looked at the bench and said, yeah, I know it. In the second half, Tennessee has hit 10 of 13 from three-point range.
Mercy, that's unbelievable. You know, and it just shows you how crazy basketball is. Here, the first half, Tennessee is 3 of 12 at the free throw line. At the free throw line. And then in the second half, they're 10 of 13 from 20 feet. It's hard to imagine.
Well, you said, and you were sure that Coach Pearl would say at halftime that we've gotten good shots, and they'll start to drop. And they've gone to the arc, even though they were getting good shots inside and couldn't hit them in the first half. Well, gone to the arc in the second half and lit it up.
You've got to let your players know you have confidence in their shooting, and I'm sure that's what Bruce Pearl said to them at halftime. You guys are good shooters. Just keep shooting it. Concentrate a little better.
Time running out for the Gamecocks. Long three is no good by Trice. On the floor, picked up finally by Tennessee, and they call a timeout to save possession, but only 5.4 seconds left. This is a huge win for the Volunteers on the road, down 12 at halftime, trailing by big numbers in the second half, and they come from behind thanks to smoking three-point shooting. They're going to win their 10th of the season and go 1-0 in the conference with a road victory.
Yeah, Tom, you just said it all. I mean, this is an amazing road victory for the Tennessee Volunteers, and I just can't say what an impressive team they are to be as small as they are. Playing 4 guards most of the game. They're not a real good rebounding team. They can't block shots. They've been last in the league in giving up points, but the way they play is a tough style to prepare against. They just press you all the time. They push the ball up and down the court and play with so much energy that they get things done.
Well, they're sending a message today to their foes in the SEC East, as they're going to win their 10th game of the season and go into a tough place to play and come away with their first SEC win in their initial outing.
And I really think the SEC East is the strongest of the 2 divisions this year. All 6 teams have had good pre-SEC seasons. All look like they're capable of getting to the NCAA tournament. And of course, Tennessee with this win, that's a nice win to have on the resume.
Tennessee with 4 players in double figures today, led by Lofton with 18, Watson 17, 14 for Bradshaw, 13 for Smith off the bench. And that's it. Impressive victory by Bruce Pearl in his first SEC outing. He congratulates Dave Odom on a tough game. Odom and the Gamecocks had the lead, but Tennessee came storming back thanks to their three-point shooting.
Great performance by the Tennessee Vols today. Again, the new coach, Bruce Pearl, has just lifted this team, and with the energy and the three-point shooting that we saw today, that was the difference in the second half.
Lofton with 18 and Kinsey with 18 for South Carolina, the 2 top scorers in the game today. As Tennessee goes to 10-1 on the season, they'll be at Thompson Bowling Arena next for their home opener as they host the Georgia Bulldogs, while South Carolina will try to regroup. They'll go on the road to face Ole Miss after seeing their record drop to 9-5. Big opening at conference win for Tennessee. Tom Hammond for Joe Dean Jr. So long from Columbia.
I'm concerned.